Brought to you by Penguin.
Let's talk. Make effective feedback your superpower. This is the author, Therese Huston. To my mom, my very first feedback giver, and to Jonathan, who knows what to say and when to say it. Introduction. Feedback is hard because we're taught from a very young age, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. And voila, now it's your job to say it. Kim Scott, Radical Candor. Feedback isn't rocket science. It's harder. Some aerospace engineers might object, but think about it. If you're a rocket scientist, you'll have years of formal training and focus simulations and risk-free brainstorming with a whiteboard and a whip-smart team before anyone even lets you in the same building with a rocket. But giving feedback, chances are you walk into that professional situation alone, with little or no training, and no team to guide you. The only simulations you've run, if any, were all in your head and amounted to, is there some way to say this so he won't get upset? Because we all know that rockets aren't the only things that explode. How do you give feedback that works? Researchers find there are many things we can get wrong when we give feedback. In this book, we'll explore what the research reveals, but chances are you already know from your own lived experience how hard it is to get right. I've known managers who had honorable intentions and still flubbed their feedback. In my early 30s, I had a great boss who was incredibly pressed for time. It was the end of my first year in a new job, and I'd asked what I was doing well and what I could improve. My boss had just been promoted, however, and she was swimming in her own new responsibilities. We happened to go into a public restroom together after a lunch meeting, and as we both peed, she suddenly launched into how I'd done that year. She meant well and was trying to squeeze me into her schedule, but all I could think was, now? Really? I can't even write any of this down. It's easy to be incredulous, but she was a good boss having a bad couple of months. Letting me know how I was performing was just one more stress she didn't want to face. Feel undertrained to give feedback? Welcome to the club. Feedback is hard for managers. One national study finds that more than 1/3, 37%, of managers are uncomfortable giving employees critical feedback, and managers I've interviewed think that number is grossly underreported. Yet a common misconception about feedback is that it's stressful only for the person receiving it. When I lead workshops on how to give feedback, I often ask, true or false, the person being evaluated typically finds the experience more stressful than the person doing the evaluation. Nearly everyone shouts, true. We can immediately feel what it's like to be the recipient. You feel scrutinized, you feel your past mistakes are going to be paraded in front of you, and you feel a pressure to defend your choices. Yet when researchers ask employees to rate how stressful their organization's evaluation process is, the senior employees giving feedback report significantly higher stress levels than the junior people receiving it. Giving critical feedback face-to-face is so hard. In fact, some of us simply don't do it. 1 in 5 managers, 21%, admit they avoid negative feedback conversations with their employees altogether. In many ways, it feels as if it should be easier to give feedback today than it was 10 years ago. We've become a society that offers feedback everywhere we go. We leave reviews of restaurants we loved and Airbnb apartments we hated. In an emergency room, you can review your doctor, and in prison, you can review your warden. London Heathrow Airport even asked passengers to rate the dreaded security lines with the press of a button. On a good day, reward them with a smiling face, and on a bad day, with a frown. Despite all the practice we have giving feedback publicly, however, when it's time to give feedback privately, human to human,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?